When Ja Morant burst through the NBA doors 2 years ago, it was very clear very quickly that he was special. As a rookie, he established himself immediately as the leader and offensive engine of a very young but highly competitive and gritty Grizzlies team that entered the bubble as the 8th seed. Guys just do not do that in today's NBA. It takes even the most gifted young guards time to find their footing. We saw it last year from Anthony Edwards when he shot 39% from the field in the first half of his rookie season, and we're seeing it right now from Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, who are shooting 30% and 36% from the field respectively on teams that are losing a whole lot more than they're winning. Those dudes were all top 2 picks in the draft and phenomenal prospects, and I'm confident that they'll all end up as all-star level guys. But it takes time. For Ja, though, it didn't. That season, he became the 3rd rookie ever to average at least 17 points and 7 assists per game on 55% true shooting, joining Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson. So things got off to a pretty historic start for Mr. Morant. Fast forward 2 years, and Ja's making history again. Now 22 years old, he's averaging more than 26 and 7, and night after night is putting on one of the NBA's best shows as he makes it pretty clear that if any human being on Earth is capable of flight, it's him. But okay, how did we get here? Well, to answer that, let's take a quick trip back to last season. Ja had a pretty clear sophomore slump for most of last year. His raw production stagnated and his efficiency dropped off as he really struggled shooting from deep, and he didn't seem to demonstrate significant skill development anywhere else in his game. But then, all of a sudden, we arrived at the play-in, and what did Ja do? Well, he went berserk. Through his 2 play-in games in the Grizzlies' subsequent 5-game series against the Jazz, Morant averaged better than 29 points per game on 47.5% shooting while attempting nearly 7 free throws a night. Facing this generation's greatest rim protector in Rudy Gobert, Morant relentlessly attacked the bucket, taking contact, contorting his body, dropping floaters over the Stifle Tower, whatever it took to get himself in that paint and that ball in the hoop as many times as he could in 48 minutes, and he kept Memphis very competitive by doing it. I have never, ever seen somebody so thoroughly unaffected by Gobert's presence coming downhill, and this was a second-year dude coming off of a disappointing regular season. So obviously, that tells you a whole lot about Ja's mentality. The dude is a crazy competitor, and he's straight up fearless, but it also showed you the roadmap to his success this year. Because here's the thing, Ja's production has skyrocketed compared to last regular season, sure, but his pure skill set hasn't necessarily changed a ton. I don't think he's doing anything right now that he didn't do in that Jazz series, but he is consistently approaching the game with that same level of aggression. While in his first 2 years, Ja would sometimes blend in with the crowd as part of the Grizzlies' balanced attack as far as night-to-night scoring, at the end of the day, there was never any question who the top dog and offensive engine was when it mattered most, and that's what we're seeing consistently this year. Now, Ja plays that top dog role in a very distinct way. He gets into the paint and exerts pressure on the rim over and over and over, just like we saw him do against the Jazz. Ja is scoring 15.8 points per game in the paint this season. That leads the entire NBA, more than Giannis, AD, Jokic, and obviously everybody, and it's the most we've seen by any guard since the NBA started tracking the stat in 1996. Think about every great downhill guard to come through the league in that time. AI, D-Rose, Russ, none of them have done what Ja is doing right now. So clearly, Ja has an unprecedented ability to get into that painted area whenever he wants, and that exists because of several key strengths in his game. First off, Ja is very quick, no doubt. It makes him a nightmare to stay in front of one-on-one, is essential to his ability to get to the cup, and a major reason he currently scores in the 98th percentile out of isolation and ranks 11th in ISO points per game. But while that speed may come to your mind first, his game is also heavily predicated on his change in pace. He absolutely loves leisurely coming around a screen, which he gets a whole lot of as he runs the 6th most pick and roll in all of basketball and scores at 65th percentile efficiency there, and then trapping a defender on his back and just taking his time, slowly working his way toward the bucket. He's also got an advanced handle featuring impressive hesitations and in and out dribbles, and he's got an explosive spin move that just makes him even tougher to stay in front of. So, getting into the paint isn't much of a problem for Ja, and once he's there, he's got a nice menu of options. One of the tastiest is to make one explosive move and then boom, elevate, go right at a rim protector, and see what happens. Once Ja takes flight, all bets are off. He is the single most impressive aerial guard we've seen at least since peak Derrick Rose. His adaptability in the air is from another planet. Circus shots are routine for Ja. He can finish with both hands easily. He has sensational control shielding the ball from rim protectors on tough scoop finishes, and he does not fear contact. On the year, Ja has taken 8.4 shots per game inside of 5 feet and hit 67% of them. And that percentage doesn't even do his brilliance as a finisher justice because so many of his shots are contested and he's forced to just make something out of nothing, which he does often and relentlessly. That same aggression attacking the bucket also gets Ja 6.4 free throws a game, which he hits almost 77% of, which is great and more efficient offense. But getting all the way to the rim isn't the only way Ja scores in the paint. He also loves a good floater, a natural shot for any volume pick and roll ball handler and a guy who has defenders on his back often. And although he may not have elite Luka or Trey level touch on that shot, it's a real weapon, and he's hit 18 of 34 driving floaters this year. It's also a completely essential counter for him to have in his bag. Take this game against the Hornets from just a few days ago as an example. Mason Plumlee was dropping out of the pick and roll, obviously to keep Ja from getting all the way to the bucket, and basically remained glued to the restricted area. So what did Ja do? He hit 5 of 5 floaters in the first 5 minutes. Now, you have a problem. And those shots may look easy for an NBA star, but there are other uber-athletic, rim-attacking guards in history who could not keep a defense honest with that shot. Like, Russell Westbrook. So yeah, Ja needs this shot to keep people from just giving him absurd amounts of space, and the fact that he has this level of confidence in it in year 3 is tremendously important. But the pressure Ja exerts on the rim does so much more than just help him as a scorer. Obviously, Ja collapses defenses a lot because nobody wants him to get a clean look at the bucket, which is great for his playmaking value. Ja doesn't make a ton of genius, anticipatory passes out of the pick and roll, but as a reactive, improvisational passer, he's an artist like I've never seen. This is what I'm talking about when I say anything can happen once Ja gets into the air. He'll leap into 3 guys, and once it feels like he's already been in the air for 5 seconds, will somehow locate an open shooter or cutter and get him the ball from an impossibly difficult angle in traffic. He wraps around people, contorts his body, and at the end of the day, just finds a way to get the ball to that open man. That is very, very valuable. So yeah, ask me what makes Ja so special, and I would say, well, he can fly. Now, of course, Ja's also phenomenal getting out and running. He ranks 6th in transition points per game and has made Memphis one of the league's fastest teams over his 3 years, but that's always been in his game. This half-court relentlessness, that is the change that's made all the difference. Ja's also been shooting the ball a bit better this year. He's hit 33% of his threes, up from 30% last year, and in my opinion, that's almost all he needs to sustain, although I do hope he settles closer to 35%. I don't see Ja ever being an elite shooter. His motion isn't super fluid or natural, but guess what? He doesn't need to be. He just needs to keep defenses honest. Right now, he can do that. And he has the self-awareness not to chuck a million times a game from deep, which is important. So, what's the result of all this been? Well, for one, it's done a whole lot for the Grizzlies' overall offense, which has been about 9 points per 100 possessions better with Ja on the floor. It's also made him one of just 6 players in NBA history to average 25 points and 7 assists per game at 22 years old, joining Oscar Robertson, LeBron James, Derrick Rose, Luka Doncic, and Trae Young. Add a minimum of 56% true shooting to that criteria, and you're left with just Luka, Trae, and Ja. And here's the crazy thing. Ja still has plenty of room to improve. His handle is pretty good, but it could also still be tighter, especially given that he spends a lot of his time weaving through crowded paints with multiple defenders keyed in on him, and he also picks up his dribble a bit too soon on occasion. Sometimes he also gets out of control and can't get away with just leaping into the air without a clear plan, and that forces him into some bad decision making. So those factors definitely contribute to why he's averaging 4.1 turnovers a game right now. He also doesn't have that pull-up jump shooting game, and the floater can supplement a lot of that inside the arc, but sometimes he'll force a tough mid-range look, and he's hit just 4 of 19 mid-range jumpers this year, so those aren't good shots. The three-point shot remains a question as well. He's also scoring at just slightly above league average efficiency, which isn't up to par for most stars. But he's 22 and early in his third season. That's the point here. He has become an elite, star-level player, the unquestioned top dog on a playoff caliber team without total refinement in those areas I mentioned. He could definitely improve in all those respects, and his playmaking impact could and should increase given how much his overall presence on the game has. So we are not looking at the final form of Ja Morant here. At the end of the day, when you have the athletic profile, playmaking instincts, handle, feel, understanding of the game, and very importantly, mentality that Ja does, you're just going to find a whole lot of success. Now, I've always been a Ja guy. He was actually my favorite player in the 2019 draft. I picked him to win Rookie of the Year before that season, and he consistently blew me away throughout his rookie campaign. But did I think he could score 26 plus points per game by year 3, in large part just by getting to the paint? Man, probably not, given that we have literally never seen it before. But here we are, and he's doing it. I don't know what Ja can end up being, but I do know that right now, he is one hell of a player, and he is making history night after night right before our eyes, and you don't want to miss it. To those of you who have made it this far, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, the good news is we have plenty of more Nerd Sesh content, and you can find it all on our website, nerdsesh.com. There we aggregate our video content, our written content, and our podcast content, which you can also see here on our YouTube channel. Mondays and Wednesdays, we live stream shows, mostly talking about the NBA. You can also listen to our podcasts in audio form on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your content there. We also do an NFL show on Fridays in audio form only. You can follow us on social media. Twitter is at nerd_sesh. Instagram is at Nerd Sesh. And here on this YouTube channel, we also do a lot of content like this: video essays, video breakdowns. I try to do one every single week. And my friends Logan and Carvel also contribute there and have done some awesome stuff recently that you can all find right here. So with that, guys, as always, hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching.